encouraging conversation that matter.
Which I'll direct to Pastor Ben. The first question is coming to Pastor Ben. You talked about church and counseling, which was very good and very important because, as you said, many people, when they have issues, they run to church. And you said that it is important for pastors to have basic knowledge in counseling, which was very important. And the question is, how can the church help those suffering from mental health to come out and seek? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I hope you got my question.
Yeah.
Okay.
How can we help people who are suffering?
Yes,
from
as
mental
a
health
church.
in church? Because, of course, they fear to reveal their identity. So I think, number one, we need to create a conducive environment.
Good.
Where people can open up. And I like what I've heard here in Ozima Center, that you have medic team.
Yes.
I think when you have such kind of program in church, people will freely come.
Yes.
And the other thing I do myself, I publicly, from the pulpit, share views. And even sometimes, I remember one day I was just teaching about depression and signs, and even pulling them from scriptures, and after that praying with people, and I said, if you need any care,
Yes.
please contact us, we are there for you. Basically, it's just creating a conducive environment.
Yes.
And awareness in the church. People
conducive environment and awareness in
awareness
the
in church.
Okay.
And that they will come. They'll come.
Yes.
I've seen that.
Okay.
So that's a practical thing that we've done in our church.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Pastor Ben, for that. I also have a question from another viewer, and this one I'll direct to Councillor Elizabeth. You said a 3-year-old child can be stressed. What can be the causes of stress in children? Kindly address the parents.
Okay, thank you for that question.
Yes.
A 3-year-old, as I said, can be stressed. One, the home environment.
Okay.
Particularly if there is domestic violence.
Yes.
And the parents are fighting, conflicting, and the child is present. However,
Yes.
they are normally affected, though they cannot fight back.
Yes.
So they can be stressed because of the home environment.
Yes.
If the home environment is not conducive.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. On the same, let me ask you another question.
Yes.
When you talked about the developmental stages, there's this stage of teenagers. This is a very critical stage. Many parents find themselves in conflicting situations with the teenagers. Maybe you can address the parents. How maybe do you handle a teenager? Because when you said about the developmental stages, in the age of 18 to 25, that is where many cases of mental illnesses are found. So how can a parent relate well and know when a teenager is changing?
A parent
Yes.
is supposed to use what I call an appropriate method.
Yes.
Conflicts come, disagreements come,
Yes.
but there is a way they should be handled. A parent, for example,
Yes.
needs to know the personality of the child. If you know your child is an introvert,
Yes.
they normally carry issues with themselves. If their child is an extrovert,
Yes.
they talk a lot.
Yes.
So a parent should know the personality of the child. Secondly, appropriate method should be used.
Appropriate method.
Appropriate method of parenting.
Yes.
We have different parenting style. We have some parents who have adopted this method we call helicopter parents. They are laissez-faire. So when a child was young, you allowed the child to do what they want. At that stage of 18, you
Yes.
started being strict. So you should be consistent.
So you start from zero,
Yeah.
not now come start
Exactly.
when the child
Because
is
we normally
old.
say you cannot teach an old dog new tricks. And that's why
Yes.
maybe we are going wrong.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I have another question, Dr. Frida, and this one I think I'll refer to Pastor Ben again. Should a pastor refer a case to a counselor and vice versa? That is, a counselor refers a case, maybe a client comes, and you feel this case should be handled by a counselor, and maybe a case comes to a counselor, and they feel this case should be handled by a pastor.
Okay.
Yes.
I said something that the psychiatrist, pastor, and psychologist, they are independent professional. They need to work together.
Okay.
I've referred many cases, like I told you, not because I can't counsel, but
Yes.
I want the privacy of the client because of closeness.
Yes.
And so I've done that.
Okay.
And psychiatrists also should refer cases to us. Why? I was reading an article. They prove that, for example, that speaking in tongues brings some healing. People who speak in tongues long hours, they have less problem. I mean, in terms of mental issues.
Yes.
So we also have our therapy, spiritual
Yes.
therapy. You just speak in tongues for 1 hour and you are done. So we need to work together. They need to refer cases to us.
Yes.
These are spiritual, that is beyond them.
Yes.
And I found a time whereby when you're doing therapy, things are not going on. It's a spiritual manifestation. Bring to men of God and women of God. They will deal with it spiritually. So we need to work together.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think the other question I'll hand it to, I'll direct it to our psychiatric nurse, that is Mr. Karaoke. There's a question here. How does a family stay with a person who has mental illness and is under treatment without isolating them? You talked about the way Dr. Frida was talking about the cases where those people who have mental illnesses used to be hidden, they were somewhere isolated. If somebody have a mental illness, how do you integrate family as they continue healing? Maybe they are under medication.
If you asked if the care or how to live with someone who is mentally sick,
Yes.
if you realize that someone is mentally sick,
Yes.
taken to a facility for treatment,
Yes.
then comes back.
Yes.
The most important thing is to ensure that this person, the drugs he was given, because most of the drugs we give, it's not like we are treating pneumonia.
Yes.
If you come to a facility and you treat your mental illness, maybe it says schizophrenia or depression, we'll discharge you on drugs
Yes.
for like a period of time, maybe a year or so. Maybe a year or so. And the care of this person, so that is that he doesn't go back to the initial sick person, and you start getting worried of him or her, is ensure this person takes his medication, take him or her to clinics when necessary,
Yes.
indicated dates, so that you will not have a relapse
Yes.
when you do that. And some of the mental illnesses we have are short term.
Yes.
Things if this person takes drugs well, able to follow clinics, things we usually end the kind of the pharmacological care,
Yes.
and continue with like reviewing this person like yearly, 3 yearly or so. And maybe if you could allow me, my moderator, maybe to work out this.
Yes.
The way Pastor said, because it's quite a matter of concern. Some people will ask you, if someone is bewitched, what do you do?
Yeah.
I believe members of the public, some of our viewers, so many people, help people in rooms at home, because they say this person is bewitched, he's not supposed to go to Madhara, yet that person is sick. So I want to say, one of the pastors asked me, if someone is mentally sick, to me I'll chase away demons. When he comes to Madhara, what do you do? So I told him, if someone is mentally sick, as I said, it's just a matter of neurotransmitters. So if the pastor prayed for you because you had issues, cultural issues at home, and he didn't make. So when you come to Madhara, we'll give you drugs, you'll be able to reverse the biochemical imbalance, and you become normal. So don't believe in witchcraft and what have you, and you keep someone at home that is sick.
Okay, thank you so much. Another question to you still. What are some of the assumptions people have about mental illnesses that you would want to correct?
One is about witchcraft.
Yes, thank you so much. I wanted to ask that question I wanted to direct, because the question is here, I wanted to direct it to Pastor Ben, thank you.
Yeah.
Witchcraft, thank you.
Witchcraft.
Yes.
It's just a belief
Yeah.
that someone can bewitch you and make you abnormal. So let us deviate from that. And if someone is mentally sick at home,
Yes.
don't say our neighbor is going. You shouldn't say going for us. Take that person to a psychologist, to a psychiatric doctor, psychiatric nurse
Yes.
for review and treatment.
Yes.
The other thing is this belief that everyone who is mentally sick
Yes.
is an evil,
Uh-huh.
is a demon of a kind.
Yeah.
So avoid that. Take this person as someone who has diabetes,
Yeah.
someone who has hypertension,
Mhm.
and actually, as there are people who are employers,
Yes.
and I would wish we change this kind of feeling that when someone is mentally sick, cannot perform.
Mm-hmm.
So they tend to like dismiss these people
Mm-hmm.
on the basis that you are mentally ill.
Mm-hmm.
So let us change our perspective
Yes.
from what we believe a mentally sick person to someone who can live with this illness,
Yes.
take drugs, and perform in a company, perform in the government, and be someone who's productive.
Okay. Thank you so much. We have questions from the audience, and I would like to take this opportunity to ask I think Jacqueline, you can ask your question kindly.
Well, thank you so much for this wonderful session. My first question will be in relation to the media. Yes, the media portrays what's happening out there, and it's a good way, the way they advocate for such cases that is happening in the society. But then again, you find with the kind of stories that they're relaying out there, you find that nowadays, the more cases of like suicide have increased simply because this was shown in the media. Now a child who gets to see it thinks, well, if so-and-so did it, maybe that is the best way I could go. And then on another thing, on another question I would want to ask in relation to parents, what is the best approach? Because now most of the things are being done online. This is where they get to see, all these issues that is cropping up in relation to mental health. And some of the stuff they interact with, you find that it's beyond them. And like the funny games that have been played on, you're supposed to go cut yourself or do stuff like this. They are so young to internalize all this information from the media. What are the best approach that the parents can use so that, they also protect their children from getting mental issues from whatever is put out there in the media? Thank you.
Okay. Maybe Elizabeth can handle that.
Thank you very much for that question. Actually, children can be limited by one. See what your child sees. See what your child sees. Give some boundaries. Don't allow your child to see everything. And do not create that forum that a child should be on TV all the times. Give other activities. Engage children in other activities. It's not only the media that can keep the child busy. Other things can be improvised. Help a child to do something constructive, but keep himself or herself busy. Where we have gone wrong as parents, we only think it's the phone, the media that can educate our children. So parents should withdraw. Let the child clean the house. If you have an orchard, let the child take care of the garden. Introduce other activities. If a child is good at drawing, let them draw physically. They must not draw from the TV or computer. So engage them in other activities and tell them time for TV, time for computer is this. And the rest of the day will be spent like this. Early enough. Because we say, train the child on the way to go. They will never forget, even as they grow up. Yes.
Thank you so much. Pastor Ben, do you have something to add on the same?
Yes, from a pastoral perspective,
Yes.
the mountain of media, we are declaring and decreeing. We are possessing it in Jesus' name.
Amen.
You want godliness and godly content in the media.
Yes.
And I was reading a research that the media people realize that when you have negative news, it sells. If it is positive, it does not sell.
True.
So we have a lot of negativity content in our media. Once in a while, my young daughter, my young boy, when they see any negative news, they ask me, Daddy, why did they do that? So I get time to explain to them and break it down for them, because like what she has said is very, very true. Because they are traumatized. How can that person kill that person, like homicide? Why is he killing the wife? Kwani alifanya in Swahili. So you talk to them nicely and say, okay, this is how it is. It's the plan of the enemy, and so on and so forth. But the ultimate thing, I concur with Elizabeth. We need to watch we need to sieve what they are seeing.
Okay.
But in other words, the long term is we are taking over the media.
Okay.
Spiritually.
Yes, that is very important. Maybe because of time, I'll just give Elizabeth a minute and ask you something. Yes. Maybe what are your recommendations to every counseling psychologist in a minute?
Every counseling psychologist should be aware that people are suffering.
Yes.
And they should come out aggressively and address the issue of mental health, even in free forums. They should do campaigns on that in many places so that we can capture and address as many people as possible.
Okay.
For example, in schools, counselors should go there and address those children, give them the information in black and white, so that they can be able to grow knowing how to handle their stressors. So in short, counselors should get out vigorously and do what they are supposed to do as mentor practitioners.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. As I wind up now, I come back to you, Kariuki, in a minute. There's this question I can't let you go without answering. Is mental illness hereditary? And as you answer that, also tell us, you said that mental illness people, many of the times it's not like diabetes where you can see this person is sick because they are sweating and all that. And sometimes, some people can even have it. How can it be handled? And also, as caregivers, those who are taking care of people with mental illnesses, as you wind up. Thank you.
I want first of all to anchor my panelists here.
Yes.
That we have given, by the fact that life has changed.
Yes.
Our socio-economic status has changed. You're able to employ a housewife, you're able to employ a gardener. So your young man who is 15 years of age is able to have like a lot of time idling around. So if this kid is idling around, a Form 4 was in a mid-term, he has nothing to do. What do you think he will do? The negative.
Yeah, social media.
So let us occupy these people.
Okay.
Let me go to your question.
Yes.
About I would beg your pardon for 3 questions.
Okay. I was asking, is mental illness hereditary?
One, genetic genes, that is hereditary.
Yes.
Basically means like if my father had schizophrenia,
yeah.
I'll get it. It's one of the causes.
Yes.
In a meaning.
Okay.
It's not a must that it's the cause. The other thing, when for the caregivers, whether they are parents, whether they are like health workers, anyone who is caring for a mentally sick person, let us give compassion to this person.
Yes.
This is not someone who has diabetes. It's someone who has psychosocial issues. Maybe stresses due and he was dismissed from work, got a mental illness. So give compassion.
Okay.
Ensure this person, a good follow-up is what is important.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. My viewer, thank you very much. We have so many questions. We cannot handle them because of time. You can continue sending your questions on all the pages. Dr. Frida, James Wetu, Convo, Uzima Center, Life of God Broadcast, all those chats. You still see your questions and answer them. If you need help, you can still inbox on those platforms.